The Grand Duke of Cambridge has charged public print firms of not creature anticipatory, quite on behavior in counterfeit news story, confidentiality issues, and cyberbullying. Their personality image is so earthed in their favorable force for nice how they appear incapable to attract in structural debate on the public problems they are creation, he alerted. For their trip, the King pair met family and their parents who had helping style it. This toolkit how we use to greet every some on main stages and successes can as well be utilized to normalize speaking how is imbued in gall and loath. The websites we use to remain associated can for several build deep ego of solitude and inadequate, told the Duke in his speaking. The Duke told technology firms had large transactions to find out on liability. Public print companies include made more than to communicate the planet rather than has always been reached in humane story. Certainly you can communicate in every some on clever ways to transactions in the unintentional ensuing consequences of these protection, he told. Thou can deny the erroneous selection of profits above values. You can select to do nice and be success. He told portion of the problem was appearing out how to balance sheet the confidentiality users requested versus a wish to do more than to fracture downward on bad behavior. I do believe down there's several trading off on several of these issues among confidentiality and several of the security job, Mr. Zuckerberg told. A lot of which we are hard to do is designer the system to offer human beings very nice confidentiality too much. The is why these are big and essential questions, and why widely through community human beings don't definitely accept on in fact wherever you should paint the link. Else execution added how Facebook was with synthetic intellect to origin out inappropriate behavior, but it was stronger to identification cases of cyberbullying rather than some problems since the environment of the messages implicated was so private. The as far of the at first period the Grand Duke and Princess of Cambridge include speak out on cyberbullying. They start up a task force to gear the issue in June 2016, that implicated Facebook, Snapchat and Google amongst other. They include refundable to the question with, but that does present a changing of color. Quite rather than focus on company operation, the period the Duke charged the technology leaders of posturing, creature to pride and defense, and possessing put their shareholders' interests over such of their users. Besides, the Duke told he was frustrated how the task force he had constructed had unsuccessful to reach more than. For Facebook in special, the couldn't go at a worst period. The company has been surrounded by information violation scandals, claims its means promote solitude and depressive, and testimony its apps include been utilized to climb in elections. And on environment, the New York Times published a crisp episode of claims on doubtful backstage tactic as the public web tested to struggle behind versus all the adverse transparency. For a long click meeting the night, head execution Mark Zuckerberg recognized how down there had been a lot of issues his company had been over on and how a lot of the criticism of the business is equitable. He added, yet, how he and his crew could not click our fingers and solve all the complaints rapidly, quite it would potential get year. The dangers for Facebook are how its members may not be readily to adhere about how length and how political community may sense the requirement to enter stricter regulation in the meanwhile. For Thu's short trip, the pair as well met youthful human beings who wrote and executed a new live video for a campaigning run by the Duke's cyberbullying task force. The campaigning, named Halt, Say, Supporting, involves a domestic coding of hold for family on which to do if they go through intimidation on the internet.